This is Townsquare Sunday on 1420 WBSM, the place where people come together to talk about the good things happening in and around New Bedford.
Come together right now. Oh.
And now, the moderator of Townsquare Sunday, Jim Phillips.
And thanks for tuning in this morning. I'm Jim Phillips, and you're listening to Townsquare Sunday. This is a public affairs program highlighting organizations and individuals that make the South Coast a special place to live. One of those organizations is the Waterfront Historic Area League of New Bedford. This organization was formed in 1962 with the goal of preserving buildings that make up so much of New Bedford's history. We have Whale to thank, along with a courageous politician or two, for creation of New Bedford's historic district, really, that is now part of the New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park, and so much more. We could take up half our time here just listing all the buildings Wales has been involved in. So we're just simply going to say they've been very much involved in all of that, and all of the historic preservation that's gone on. My guest is Terry Bernert, the Executive Director of Whale. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
And also, we're joined by Jessica Brigoli of the Steeple Playhouse. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The Steeple Playhouse is, I won't say it's an offshoot of your theater, but your theater is a partner in this project. What is the Steeple Playhouse? Let's start there.
So the Steeple Playhouse is the new name for the First Baptist Church. Your theater is purchased the First Baptist Church to be their new home.
All right. So, Terry, the First Baptist Church, of course, on William Street is in the process of being restored, and it's been going on for some time. How did Whale get involved? How did that start?
Actually, it started in the mayor's office about 4 years ago, or maybe even 4.5 when I first started in my position at Whale. I had a meeting with the mayor right off the bat, and I asked him what his priorities were as far as historic restoration, and he said First Baptist Church. That my board enthusiastically told me to start working on finding a reuse for First Baptist Church and a way to restore it. Christina Connolly with the mayor's office put me in touch with your theater, who was looking for a new home, and they took a look at the church and immediately kind of fell in love with it. The acoustics in the sanctuary are incredible, and it just makes a really lovely theater space. So that's when the marriage was born.
And what's the cost of this project? I haven't seen a lot written about that, but obviously we're talking about a building that was constructed in the 1800s and needs some work, clearly.
1829.
1829.
Luckily, we got in there and started the steeple work because the whole thing would have come down. That's not an exaggeration.
Right.
All the 4 posts of the steeple were totally rotted. So the first phase is actually restoring the bell tower and steeple, which if you go to the church, you'll see the remnants of the bell tower and steeple on the ground. That will not be reused. And then the bell tower itself is restored up on top of the church, and we're rebuilding the steeple in a mill house over the winter. So it'll be brand new, like lantern of the bell tower and steeple that is on the city seal. It's I think it's 4. There's 4 steeples, maybe 5 on the city seal, and this one is the only one remaining in New Bedford today. So if it was
It's important.
It's important.
It's important to
Yep.
save, clearly. And for those who don't know, the First Baptist Church has a real historical significance in that that's where the Robert's Rules of Order was created. The Robert's Rules of Order is really the basic rules that govern parliamentary government, that cover that the city council follows, and a lot of city councils follow, more or less. They may make some slight revisions, but clearly Robert's Rules of Order is a historic piece of brain power, really, that was created right here in New Bedford. So what about the future? This refurbishment.
If I can just say
Sure, of
something
course.
on Robert's Rules of Order, so that was Henry Martin Roberts that created it in a town meeting in the church, and it was I think it was an 11-hour meeting that got out of order basically.
Why you need Robert's Rules of Order.
And he went home, and the folklore is that his wife, he was complaining about the meeting being out of order, and his wife said to just stop complaining and go write a book. And so that's the beginnings. And since the church was named a national treasure by the National Trust for Historic Preservation, so it's been on national news, and so we've had a lot of parliamentarians from around the country visiting. We just had at our holiday soiree at the church that we did with Your Theater and Gallery X, there were 2 parliamentarians from Boston and Northern Mass, and we've had a few from Texas actually visit. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What will the refurbished, well, first of all, who are your partners in this restoration? Because Will normally doesn't do a lot of things alone, although they have done some things alone. But clearly you have some partners here that are making this work. Your theater is one of them, certainly. There are other partners as well.
Your theater is the main partner, and the city. Ann Lauro, historic preservation planner, has been extremely helpful. The National Trust for Historic Preservation. But Whale purchased the building with Your Theater, and they've been involved, directly for the last 4 years. And now with Jessica on board, it's really exciting, and Jessica can talk about the plans for the church and the partners that they have for its future reuse.
Jessica, what will this refurbished church look like? Don't present a diagram, just kind of tell us what it'll be.
Well, I know we're going to be putting in a black box theater. We'll also have the theater.
What is a black box theater? What is that?
Maybe Terry can describe a black box better than I
It's
can.
really it's a smaller venue that's it's got it's basically a square without windows or anything, and you can configure it how you'd like, and it is good for more creative small productions, and that will be in the first floor of the main historic building, which will also have their green room, which is their dressing rooms, a stage production, set production area, and handicap bathrooms.
And that's going to be in the first floor.
On the first floor, underneath the sanctuary. And the sanctuary will have an exhibit on parliamentarian procedure and Henry Martin Roberts. So the church will still be First Baptist Church, and a tourist attraction for people, because it's really, Quaker design, very elegant church that has national presence.
Jessica, is obviously there's a great there has to be a need for this small theater. Your theater has been kind of nomadic. They've been moved around the city a number of times, and having a home is, I think, a big advantage for them and for the community. Tell us what that means to people who do what you do.
Well, we are going to open up the venue for people to rent out, say, for weddings, conferences, movies, smaller productions, ballets, larger productions, experimental art, you name it, we can probably get it done in there. So it's definitely a need in the community for a place for people to be able to do these projects.
And again, this cost, this project, is there a number yet? You've got phase one here, which was the steeple and the bell tower.
So right now we're under construction on the bell tower and steeple. The cost is more than we anticipated just because we have to rebuild
Sure.
the structure. We're hoping that there's no more surprises when we enter phase two of the exterior and interior. Estimated total cost is $1.5 million.
Okay.
Which is not that bad for a 10,000 square foot facility.
And for a building that was built in 1829, I mean, we have to expect. Now, I know there have been certainly some repairs done over the years, but you know the way it is with older buildings for sure. You do it so you can make it usable, but no one does the full job all the time. That's just the way it is. They make a repair, and now you're looking to certainly make repairs, but also do some restoration work as well to keep this building up and running for a long time.
Yeah, we've John Aumann and some Roger Williams students have actually and the New Bedford Union Carpenters have all taken part in restoring the windows, which was a big item. So that's all done. And
all right.
So there's been a lot of volunteers on this project, which is really nice to show that community spirit.
Yeah, and that's also a wonderful part of what Whale does as well. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest, Terry Bernert of the Waterfront Historic Area League, and Jessica Brigoli of the Steeple. Is the Steeple Players or Steeple Playhouse?
Steeple Playhouse.
And that will be the new name of the First Baptist Church when it is completed. There'll still be services at the church after?
Yeah, that's a great point. So part of this whole strategy to restore the church was to keep the congregation functioning there. So they'll be in the newer wing of the building, and your theater and First Baptist congregation worked through a shared use plan for the church, which is actually, hard to do, and they were successful. So the congregation will be still having their
and folks can
congregation there.
You're looking for some financial donations, I'm sure. I know you had a recent, as you mentioned, soiree. I think it was December 7th. Are you collecting donations, or are you hitting up foundations? What are you doing to cover this cost?
We were awarded $250,000 state historic tax credits. We've gotten a city community development block grant of $100,000, and a few other grants. We've raised, I believe, $120,000 from foundations and private donations, which is really good. Our goal is to double that. And to date, we've raised about $900,000 of the 1.5. So yes, donations are
Where can people
great.
go? Where can people go?
They go to the Whale website, and the First Baptist has a page there, and there's a donation button. Or they can call our office at 508-997-1776. Reach out to Diane Broder or whoever else is in the office, and we really appreciate the donations.
No donation too small for this project. I mean, you come a long way already.
Oh yeah, we've gotten $5 donations,
Sure,
which
that's
are
great.
greatly appreciated.
Do we have a completion date? I know when you're dealing with, some uncertain money sources, as you get close to the end here, we may not be able to finish it all, or I'm sure you hope to finish it all. Is there a completion date for this project?
We want to have your theater, Steeple Playhouse, open this time next year. So
Wow.
that's the goal. We have a lot of work to do. But the major hurdles, I think, are over. And I just wanted to say, when Whale does its projects, a lot of the majority of the work is the restoration of the building, but almost as much work, or sometimes even more, is finding the reuse for the building that contributes to the economy. And a lot of our projects in our history have been in the creative economy, including, starting with John Bullard and Sarah Delano's work with the Zeitarian Theater. We finished with the Port Society leading the way, the Seaman's Bethel and Mariners Home restoration. This year we completed the Co-Creative Center on Union Street. And so working with your theater for a performing arts venue, a small performing arts venue for downtown and the city is, another creative economy initiative. So it's working with the partner nonprofit that's in the arts and culture field along the way through the restoration, and getting them up and active in the venue. And if you go to the Co-Creative Center, you'll see that place is buzzing along. The thousands of visitors visit the Mariners Home and Seaman's Bethel. So it brings tourism and economic revitalization as well as restoring buildings. So it's kind of like a bigger initiative than just historic preservation.
And that's what you hope here will happen with First Baptist as well.
We know it'll happen.
It will happen.
And your theater has made huge strides, and so happy that Jessica got hired as executive director.
You feel positive about it, Jessica? Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very exciting project.
All right. Well, we'll be watching a year from now. Hopefully we'll be celebrating the opening of the Steeple Playhouse here in New Bedford. Terry Bernert, Executive Director of the Waterfront Historic Area League, thank you for the organization's preservation work and, as you mentioned, the economic impact that it generates. And thank you for coming in. And Jessica Brigoli of the Steeple Playhouse, thank you as well for coming in. Good luck with the First Baptist Church project, and hopefully in a year it'll be done. It'll be great. Don't go away. Townsquare Sunday continues in just a moment.